Okay, let's see here. All right, it should be good to go. All right, now I have to find the video on YouTube and then share it. I love the picture. Okay, gotta go to Facebook. Reigan, Yu Yu Hakusho reference. And then we go to my other page where we do other things. Okay. So today is practice day. And I'm very excited to do practice day. It's not just practice day. I practice every single day. But today I'm going over a new piece of music that I've never played before, obviously. It's because it's a new piece of music. So I'm just going to do some decision making and learn how to do this piece and answer some questions and hang out. And I think I'll keep this video up. Because normally I delete my live streams because I try to make them like special. Like if you caught the live stream, that was great. But this one I'll keep up because this is fun. This is a good one for me to also watch back, because watching back your own practice sessions is actually really, really, really valuable. So feel free to get a comment in there, and we'll go over. So today's piece that I'm working on is called Ajikan, and Ajikan is based off of an esoteric Buddhist practice from Shingonshu, which was founded by Kukai in I think 700, 800, something like that. He also wrote a really important book of quotes, or not quotes, of his words. It was a really important collection of small phrases and stuff. And it actually used to be a way that kids would learn how to read and write Japanese. I'll have to figure out what that book is again, because I know it's like Jitsu something something something. Anyway, so this piece Ajikan, it's about this. You take the character and you put that in your mind's eye, and you let that sit and work around, and that's what you meditate on as you play this piece. So let's play the first part of this piece, the first line. And I'm going to use the 2.6 on this. I think the longer flute ends up sounding better. And I need to move back more because I forgot this flute is long. Okay. Okay, so that's the first breath. It's just those three rays, and I don't think that's enough for me. I want something else on that. I don't a lot of times when I play a piece, I don't play that in like a sort of a sectarian way. I play things in a way of like soul, called soul, shingyo soul, and so this idea of soul, a shingyo soul, is what that means is. In a basic sense, Shingyo Soul means formal, semi-formal, and informal. But in the world of for Shakuhachi, soul means to make a decision. So you're trying to find something you want to express, and you feel like something needs it. Like for me, just playing day, just it doesn't fit enough for me. It's not me. So I want to add something to it. So with these rays and like just looking ahead in the piece, there's a lot of head movement for Marys and Karis, like Merikari. So I'm going to add a Nayashi on that second ray, and I'm going to do some bouncing as well from the Meri to Kari position to imitate some of the other sounds that are happening in this piece between the two motions there. So. And that's an idea. I'll come back to it later and just say like, that worked, that didn't work when I listen back to the piece. And now that I'm actually thinking about it too, I don't think the breath mark is marked after that last re. I'm gonna change the breath mark, and I'm gonna move it to a couple other notes afterwards. So now the first phrase will become. That's better. I think I like that more. I'm going to hold out this re-marry longer. And when I mean that, like, I'm learning this piece and practicing this piece right now, I've literally have not touched this piece ever. I've heard recordings of multiple people playing it. And so some of the things I'm doing are influenced by others, and I'll go, oh yeah, like Watazumi does it this way, and Taniguchi does it this way, and so and so has played it this way, and I've heard someone else play it this way. Growing a Year, it says, don't you have a bigger flute? Maybe. I knew my teacher's teacher used to play on a 3.0, or like a 3.2 actually. It's just this massive tank of a flute, and I never, it sounds amazing, but according to the stories, what Taniguchi would do is that he would have that flute, and he would stay up for like 3 days playing it, and just like work on a single, like 2 or 3 pieces and record them, and then he would be dead for a couple days and just wouldn't move. So like back hurts, back pains, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I think 2.6, 2.7, like that's my absolute limit. I can't go any further than that. Okay, so this beginning re-marry that starts there, I'm going to extend that a little bit longer. And now I have to make a choice on this re to he if I really want to like pop it when it gets to the top there. And I definitely wanted to add that suriage. That was something that was I felt was needed in that, and then quicker on the next chi do that happens right afterwards. Yeah, and I don't like the pop. I'm gonna keep the pop out. And I'm going to add that bounce in there to kind of keep that idea going on. So I'll have like a clean going from that do, 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 and then I'll keep that clean for a little bit, and then I'll go back to a bounce. You want a 1.2? I had a 1.4 for a while, and that was really cool. That was in the key of F. That was a really cool flute, actually. I really enjoyed that one. I missed that flute. Not enough to get another one. I only used it for 2 songs. I used it for for Kumoi Jishi and Azuma Jishi. Those Shinto based works were really cool to have something higher. Okay, so now we're finally on to line 2, but I want to put everything together for line 1 first, just so I feel a little bit more comfortable with it. So I have a little bit of an idea of what the flow is going to be like for this piece. And I'll definitely want to go back and listen for for intonation things with this piece too, because there's a lot of ro diameres, and sometimes you think you're going low enough, and that's like a, you know, you gotta, it's such a difficult pitch to hit. Tim, welcome to the channel. One of three. Okay, hi. Randomly happened to get recommended to your live stream, so here I am. And I was playing Shakuhachi for about 9 months or so, but I've had to put it aside as I have been having bad reflux overnight. But it seems to be brought on also when I play. Have you ever encountered instances of this, and do you have suggestions or tips for managing the problem so I can get back into playing again? I do have other musical adventures at avenues, so it's not a complete bummer, but still. Okay, so Tim, you came to the right place, because I actually have gastroinflammatory respiratory disease. So I am very, very familiar with the reflux problem. So there are a couple things that you can get. So it's probably not. It's probably about how like your the breathing and using all that air and pushing it out is making your like stomach the stomach acid upset. Perhaps, I don't know. But there actually is a Chinese medicine that you can get where it's like it's actually like mint supplements, and you just take that with like some water, and it really helps. Black licorice is also another thing that works really well for GERD and or any sort of type of reflux. But what I will recommend is do not drink a lot of water or any sort of liquids or eat anything before, like at least an hour before you play, because that's usually the reason why all those things happen. Don't worry, the live stream will always be here, so you can backtrack if you need to. But there's a lot of different things that you can do. But main thing is Chinese medicine. You can just go to go to your local Asian market and go to like the Chinese like medicine part. They call it kanpo in Japanese. So if you just go there, tell them that you're having this problem, they know exactly what to give it to you, and it's all natural. So it's it's not going to hurt your body to take it frequently or even multiple times a day. It's totally fine. Second thing is make sure you're not drinking water or any liquids, and definitely avoid milk. That was a really big one. I don't know the name of the medicine, and also if I told you, I don't think it would help either because it's in Chinese. But if you go to the place and you say, this is the problem I'm having, that person it's usually a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, so they'll be able to help you with that. So hopefully that helps out with your playing, and I hope you get right back into it and enjoy it. And also, again, welcome to the channel. Happy to have you here. Okay, back to the piece. And yes, it is like mint. Okay, so in this in the second phrase here, we start in the con octave, and it has those it continues in the con octave, and it has those ro dimeres, ro dimere do, ro dimere ro. Always a really challenging combination to get that. And so that's, I think what I'm going to do for this particular line is that it ends on a re, but I'm going to add a little E pop to the end just so I can kind of keep that idea of da 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 da. And actually, the way I chanted it just now, do do ri, I added a nayashi, and I actually kind of like how that sounds. So I'm going to add that in there, and then I'm going to put the E in there as well. And I didn't print this score out. Normally I have all my scores like just printed out and whatever. I never write on originals, so because I make copies of them. This is just one I have on the computer right now. So let's try putting that together. And then that repeats there again. So maybe I'll put another nayashi, but I'm going to put it on the first one there instead of the second one. And then when I hit that ru to tsumeri, it wasn't as powerful as I wanted it. Maybe loosening up the embouchure a little bit will help there. Alright, so a couple other things I added in there too. Typically for me, when I get like a re-marry re-section, anytime I see notes like I tend to fall in the path of one or two things, which is I either do like this, like a really long muraiki on the D-medi, or I do like a quick re-marry, pop on the re, and then a nayashi. But of course, that's just kind of like my go-to instant like thought, like, oh, I gotta do that because it's the sounds I like. But I can of course put them in combination, or just, or so there's so many different options I can do with that. So that's something I'll have to think about as I'm playing through this piece and working on it. Okay, hi Sean Sensei. Finally managed to catch your stream live. Thank you so much for inspiring me to keep practicing and playing shakuhachi. Thank you so much for that note. It really made like that kind of comment makes me like want to make more of the videos to just to share the pieces I know. Makes me want to make more content, whatever it may be, for just playing shakuhachi, learning shakuhachi, doing stuff with shakuhachi. It's amazing. I'm really happy that you're enjoying the content, and I'm glad that you're continuing to play it too. Okay, so that is the second line. I'm gonna put all that together now and try to see how it sounds. So that way, when I'm listening back to this later, I go, okay, that worked, that didn't work. And so notice that everything's that I'm doing, it's all like a maybe. Right? I do something, it's like, well, right now to me it sounds good. It's right now it's the decision I like, but tomorrow I could listen back to this and go, what the hell was I thinking? I shouldn't do that at all. It sounds terrible. And then maybe 2 days later and be like, actually no, the first way that I did it on the live stream was the best way. So Honkyoku is never played the same way twice. So I'm just coming up with some stuff that I like now. But again, probably later what I'll do is I'll do something completely different. Maybe do everything the opposite way. Okay, so here's line 2. Yeah, I like that. That worked out pretty well there. I just got a message. I'm gonna close my Facebook now so that doesn't happen again. Okay, so that worked out pretty well actually. I like kind of how that sounded. Okay, now going into the next part of this piece, we have line 3. Ooh dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. And then back and forth, dee 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 dee. Okay. I see that there's a breath mark written in here between the first and second phrases. Just thinking about it now. Ooh, dee, 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 I don't like it. I'm just going to take it out. I don't need it. Okay, then. Okay, and then that one we've already played before, so that's just a repetition of what happened before. Okay, let's just put it together. Nothing that needs to massive changing here. I kind of already just had made some decisions on lines like that. Alright, so I gotta take a little bit of bigger breath if I'm gonna skip that one. Okay, that's nice. Okay, cool. Hold out that a little bit longer. and then maybe add a little bit of a pop at the end there. Okay, now we're on line 4. So in line 4, we're starting with that ooh, ooh, dee. Let's see. Actually, yeah, a little boko there sounds kind of cool. That's what I was thinking. So boko is a really cool technique to use for shakuhachi. And a boko is just, you go from this ooh fingering, and then you go into the daimeri position. You're just basically setting 4, lifting 4, setting 3, lifting 4, lifting 3. And it's a really nice effect for just kind of adds just that little bit of extra flavor to it. And then that will help with also speeding up the music too, because I want to speed up this next line. I was looking ahead with this. So that will help as well. So okay, now we have something here. So I'm gonna make this little ray here really, really long because it doesn't quite fit in the rest of this musical phrase, in my opinion. So I'm gonna lengthen that and kind of let it be its own little universe, and then we go back to some other things that we've played before, so that makes a little bit more sense. Kevin, hello, Master Sean. Very happy to see you. Been a while since we last spoke, inspiring us all as always. You know, I'm really happy that you guys say that. I just do this because it puts accountability on myself when I'm practicing. When I talk out my ideas, otherwise I talk to myself, and then when my wife comes in, she goes, "Who are you talking to?" And I go, "Myself." She goes, "I see." At least if I'm talking to you guys, I'm not like necessarily talking to myself. I have people who are listening. It makes me look less crazy. Okay, so then we keep going on. Do, do, tsu, tsu, do, de, de, de. And they're really, really long. Really long. That's a big phrase ender right there. And there's a little mark down here that has an arrow going into the next line. And it has a breath mark. I'm going to get rid of that breath mark, and I'm just going to go right into line 5 and connect those two things together. Okay, Paul says, enjoying tapping into your video lesson from Australia. They help in my practice. Very clear, informative. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, you're very welcome. Happy to help how I can. I'm thinking about making some more lessons for shakuhachi, but I don't think I'm going to necessarily go over pieces. I'm going to go more over like tone production and, you know, getting a better sound. Because, you know, pieces you should just learn with a teacher. But, you know, the tone, sound, and just, you know, getting yourself to become more comfortable with the instrument is really, it's really crucial. And those little elements can take like 5 lessons to go over, but at least if you have a video that you can watch again and again and again, hopefully that helps everybody. Okay, so line 4. Let's try putting it all together and see what happens. Yeah, so I'll have to take a bigger breath here so I can actually elongate that section. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, let's take a look at this next section now. All right, so this is now, I took out that first part of line 5, and I connected that to line 4. So now I have to look at this next part of line 5, and it also looks like line 6 is shortened. And this is not necessarily like every version of Ajikan is going to be separated by these lines like this. This is just this particular version. So that means that maybe line 6 and partial of line 5 are actually more connected than, the upper part of line 5 and the bottom part of line 5. Okay, so I have a rotsu, rotsu, uri. Okay, cool. Nothing too different here. I do think, though, that the top of line 6 is definitely connected with line 5, 100%. But I'm starting a new section, so I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to actually add in a big accent, but I'm going to make that row really quick. So I get like this kind of... I can do better than that. That's better. Just a little bit more girth and tone in it. So I'm cueing the audience member, starting a new section or new idea, or just maybe even just a little bit of a different section of music. It might only be 10 seconds long, but something different. Want to let people know. Ian Playhouse says, that's a nice background. Thank you. This is a Byolbu, and I have no idea how old it is. All I know is that at the top of it, where the part you can't see, is actually Mount Fuji, and it's from the southern view. So kind of cool to have that in my house here. Okay, so let's go line 5, and then see, got some dutsu, and then I'm going to add a little curly thing there. That will be nice. Because if you remember here, I just added a curly thingy. So I got to put another curly thingy in there. Okay, back to Seiza. I don't know why I can't see that well from far away. And I have glasses on. That means my eyes are getting worse. Okay, 5 from the rows. Yeah, I think everybody heard that. The re, that has to be the same pitch. The ru is the same as re. So that one I have to just be careful of that time. I got lazy. So put a little circle on that and just let myself remind myself. Nayashi there too, so I'm going to put that in there. Okay, now we're on line 7. Alright, line 7 is completely different. We're going back into the con register, and then we're doing some trills, and I might approach that a little bit differently. He, and then de he Renzo, it's me, Nasuke, aka Raygun. You know 7777. You know that my auto live stream picture is the Raygun picture now. Like for every single live stream. I don't know why. I can change it, but I choose not to because I like it. Okay, so let's see. We have so tsude he de ta hi tsu tsu du de chi chi du do. Okay, everything is really connected here. This will be a little bit of a longer fight because this is 7 and 8, and even going into 9. It looks like that's all one phrase there. I can do better. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with what I just did there. Almost kind of improv'd it a little bit. And I actually added in another breath, and I kind of did an echo thing here. So what's written in as advice on this piece? So the person who wrote out this score gives advice that at this point that you should grow and get more excitement there. But actually, what I'm doing instead is kind of doing the reverse. I'm actually echoing it, and then I have this softer section that comes right out. So I'm blending it in more rather than making a big dynamic contrast right away. I'm trying to connect the phrase. So instead of making it this is one phrase, I make here's one super big long phrase that lasts three lines long. Okay, so then we have line 10. I wanted to add in here too that I put a little something on that note, and then a little something on that note too. And then I kind of get that little Nayashi there, a little slide up. That will be good. I think that's all I did. Okay, then line 10. Oh, I had a comment. EM Playhouse. For some reason, that sound of Jinashi is similar to Tenchu 3 OST track from Tenrai Fortress level. Yo, that's really specific. Like, that's really, really specific information. And now, because you said it, I really want to look it up. And look, you're probably right, too. You're probably exactly right. So, Tenrai, not Tenri. Tenri Fortress, OST, Tenchu 3. All right, I'm listening. Here we go. But first, a commercial. Oh, not at all. Ah, that. Yeah, so it's a 2.7. Let's play everything really flat. Yeah, so it's probably that actually sounds like a Jinashi to me, and that's like a today. I don't know why it says my monetization is off. That's not fun. Let's put that back on. Blah 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 blah. I don't know why, but it won't let me do that. Oh well. Oh wait, there's the tag right there. Okay. We won't put videos in. Just like overlays and stuff. Okay. All right, that was a cool little break. Okay, let's take a look at this next spot here. All right, so we're in line 10 now. So 10 has starts with a row. Oh, sitting down. Okay. No su. Ah, boko boko. I love a boko boko. Yeah, no, I have to lift up more for that to get that sound better. Boko boko tsuro. Oh, cool. That's actually that's going to be a beautiful line. I'm really excited to play that. Okay, then line 11 is do tsu tsu do di. Cool. Nothing new there. D. Okay, that repeats again too. Ooh, some bouncing. That will be fun. Do do di. Okay. Ooh dee dee ooh tsu de de. All right. I'll add a little Nayashi there. That will be fun. Okay, then do two 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 do day day. We can do the little bouncy thing there too. Then who today. Okay, and actually, I think I've heard somebody do like tamane on the ending note there. So that's the flutter tonguing thing. So maybe we'll add that. Okay, so line 10 through line 14 is kind of like a recap of a lot of the ideas. And then it kind of just closes itself out. So let's just give it a try and see what happens. Maybe I'll come up with something different throughout it. Ah, it's different. Okay, so I gotta mark that as, I gotta circle that otsu because it does not go up. And my first reaction is, because you see it so often, is going up there. And also, my bokos are not sounding as boku-y as they should. That was too much. That's enough right there. Just do 4. Keep it simple. Nothing worse than overcomplicating something. Okay, gotta get that Mary a little bit lower too. Oh, there's no Nyashi there, or there's no dip. I added it. Okay, cool. Well, let's add it. I apparently like it, so. Start to slow it down a little bit. We're at second to last line. Bigger breath. Okay. Yeah, so that's the piece. You know. Overall, there's some things that like I think I like. They went really well. I'm like, okay, this is a good idea. This is going well. Some other things is like, I think there's a better option. And almost, I want to say there's almost always a better option. Because at the moment you play it, if that's what you feel, that's the best option. If you play how you felt, that's the best option. But yeah, that was a fun piece. That's a fun piece. I think it could be just a little bit dry if it doesn't if you don't add some things to it. And okay, Mikyo de wa wa dai gumo. I don't know what that character is. Oh, dai nichigumo ni taoto. I don't know what taoto is. A boing. Oh, it's haha. It's a okasan no bo boing. Okay, vowel. That does not look like the character from Mother. That looks like a poorly written ta. So it's the first vowel of the alphabet. Same in Japanese. And the last one is So yeah. It said in this score it says to play freely. It's the music is a for example. So that's exactly what we just did. You know, the the music I'm looking at is just a blueprint, and anybody who's ever built a house before or built anything for that fact, they know that as you're working on something, you go, wait a minute, toilet can't go here. It just doesn't work. Toilet doesn't work here, so we got to change it, move it somewhere else. So, all right. Do you plan to keep your tutorial series going? To me, those are the best on the internet. Thank you so much. Yes. The answer is yes. I will continue doing it. My next one I want to talk about is poise for the shakuhachi. I feel like what I'm running out of is of course I can just keep making random contents, but what I need actually is I need like a list of things that you guys want to work on. So let me get my little pad out here. Ta-da! Tell me what you guys want to learn. And not necessarily pieces, but like techniques and like what confuses you about like playing shakuhachi that that I can help you with, because where my expertise is around playing the instrument and the aesthetics. Like other things, there's better places to go. You know, I am not a scholar. I'm just a performer. I play music for a living, right? I compose too. I can talk about composing for the shakuhachi, but I don't think that's necessarily like the point of this series. It's of learning about the best techniques and methods that I know of right now. So hit me. What do you want to learn? Okay, so let's say the next one I do is for poise. Poise and posture, right? And I'll talk about like standing versus sitting and seiza. Okay. Sean Sensei, what advice can you give someone that hopes to achieve a Shihan qualifications? Thank you. Okay, that's a really good question actually. So Shihan for everybody is different. So every teacher has different standards of what they expect out of a Shihan. If what I would say is it goes beyond. What's the best way to do this? Okay, part 1, technique. Being able to make a really good sound, being able to play the pieces that are necessary, and being able to look at a score and go, yeah, I can play that, and like know how to work out the ideas and whatever. Part 2 is the creativity side of it. Now this is like if you want to, like this is also really important. Like which school, if you're part of like the KSK sort of thing, like Yokoyama lineage, or like in like my case with being like down the Taniguchi Watazumi route, it's a lot about making your own choices and being able to express yourself, the freedom of expression, right? And through the music. Now, if you want like a Kinko Shihan, it's getting like sounding like a Kinko player, doing the Kinko techniques, doing the Kinko way of playing things, and knowing that really well, and learning the required pieces for that. So yeah, that it's a very loaded question because there's so many different ways, and everybody has a different standard for that. So I'm only a Shihan, so I can't actually give out a Shihan. Only a Dai Shihan can do that, or above. So that, I think that would be the first thing, is you got to find someone who has a Dai Shihan, which they're out there, and then you got to look at their requirements and what they're learning or what they're teaching, and if that fits with what you want. But for me, if I ever became a daishihan and I was going to give out a shihan, or yeah, if I was going to be able to give out a shihan, my thing would be, can this student think for themselves? Like, right, can this person think for themselves and make decisions? Because at the end of the day, I don't want any of my students to sound like me, because only I can sound like me, and I'm going to be the best me. But I will never be the best one of my students. I can't sound like any of them because they all have their own individual voice, and that's awesome. I'll never be able to copy that. And that's what I want. That's what I would expect from a shihan, is you have your own individualized voice. And also some teaching experience would be nice too. So like, teaching, like having your own students, like even if it's just one or two people, or something like that. Or like if your daishihan, your shisho, like had you teach a master class or something like that, that I think would also be really important, because shihan doesn't really mean like master in the sense of like you became a master of the instrument. It means that you're a teacher, right? So you have like teaching abilities and you know the required information to teach the playing of shakuhachi. Okay. Melkorium JS. Okay, whoa, awesome. Posture is absolutely something I'd love to hear about. I'm always having trouble playing while sitting down, and seiza is too difficult to stay in. Maybe I need to get a seiza bench. Seiza benches are great. I also enjoy you just playing through traditional pieces while explaining the details and techniques. Yeah, so I think like with that, the traditional technique sort of side of it, right? Like, and just going through it. I don't really know what that means to say like traditional. Like how do we know exactly how people played it 400, 500 years ago? That's way beyond me. I couldn't tell you how they did that, and I don't even know of any manuscripts that say like there's like even like there's controversy on simple things, like at the end of a phrase, like do you do or do you do like, that's a big controversy. It's like which one's right, which one's wrong, and that you'll have to go to somebody else for. But like, here's how I do it. That's what I can show you. And so what I would say is I would say going over like not traditional techniques, but going over a way that makes it like natural for you, like that makes the music more whatever. And I can tell you, like in the pieces, this is what I've heard done before, and I've heard a lot of different ways of stuff done on these not contemporary, the Koden works, all the traditional works. I've heard lots of variations. So like the piece I've played, when I putting it all together, I think that it would probably be about 6 or 7 minutes long, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe like 5.5 at the minimum. But I know I've heard recordings of this piece that are 3 minutes long. So just like super fast, blaze through it, done, over. And then I've heard other versions that are like 9 minutes long, where everything is really dragged out. So there isn't really a way to do anything. There's just your way and everybody else's. So, but I think seiza. I do lots of seiza sitting. I taught for like 2 or 3 hours this morning, and sitting at my desk here, which is in seiza. Like I sit seiza, so my knees hurt. I have to already move to regular sitting, but I've gotten pretty used to it, where I can sit seiza for a fairly good amount of time. Probably about an hour and a half straight before like I don't feel my toes anymore. But seiza bench will help for sure. But here's a recommendation for seiza. Force yourself to sit in seiza for 10 minutes every single day, just straight, and you'll get a lot better at it very, very quickly. I value the way that you do it. At the moment, I just try to copy it, but it helps me to practice and just get better and more consistent. Yeah, I think that like I do the same thing. Like one of my exercises for learning a piece is sometimes I just copy. If I'm not sure like what I want to do with a piece, I might just find a recording that I like and go, all right, I'm just going to do every single thing that this person does. And I'm going to act like a scribe. They're just going to say it. I'm writing it down. Then from there I go, okay, now I actually have an understanding of the piece because I've developed a feeling. Then from there, I can make my own choices and say, I can ask my favorite question, which is, what if? So what if I do this? What if I do that? What if it's like this? What if it's that? What if I take this entire phrase and put it up an octave? What if I take this entire phrase and put it down an octave? What if I have part of this phrase up an octave and part of this phrase down an octave or whatnot? And then from there I can create my soul version of the performance. I can create my version of whatever piece. So when I'm like playing this ajikan, right? Like this esoteric ajikan, Mikkyo ajikan. What I want it to become is like Renzo no Mikkyo ajikan. I want it to become Renzo's version of esoteric Buddhism. The first word "a" is the origin. Yeah, something like that. And then, take it from there and go. And that doesn't mean everything's going to work. That doesn't mean that the piece is going to be successful. That doesn't mean that it's going to touch everybody's soul and they're going to just be like, wow, I have finally experienced Kensho because of Sean's performance. No, I mean, most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to like it, and then a lot of people aren't going to like it. And that's fine. I've got a long life to live of making my performance better. So this was a really fun exercise. I might do this a little bit more often, going through a piece that I don't know. But that was one I have heard multiple times. I've always wanted to play it. I had the music for it. It was just sitting there, and I kept telling myself every day, like, maybe I should play that piece. Oh yeah, I'll definitely play. I'll get to it. Maybe I should play that piece. I'll definitely get to it. And then I never get to it. So, any other so we have the next video I can make for Shakuhachi lessons is poise and posture. So any other requests for lessons, I can just write them down and I'll make that. I really don't want to do things like people have asked before, like shiku no tone or like koku or like some other really difficult pieces. Like there's not a lot of people who could play that who are not already in lessons. Like the idea is to do things that are like something that I don't know, not a piece, because you can do that with any teacher. Anybody can show you how to do that. Do you know any good method book for Tozan school? I do not. Wait, that's a lie. I do. Yamamoto Hozan's Shakuhachi, it's a Shakuhachi technique book. I will look this up really quickly because he has a couple books. This one here, Shakuhachi Playing Guide. And I believe it's written in English too. And so here you learn a bunch of different pieces. And there's some original compositions in there. And there's a lot of really good exercises in the beginning. And they're written in both Western staff notation and in the Japanese calligraphic style. He goes over the ideas of honkyoku and sankyoku music, as well as minyo. And then, what I really like in there is he also talks about the quality of shakuhachi, like how to find a good shakuhachi. And then he also talks about blowing techniques. And then in addition to that, there is a really cool like couple exercises that he gives, like playing it on a long flute. It's already like on a normal flute, it's already difficult enough. But just like then just kind of going up in those what do you call it? Oh my god, I'm literally losing how to speak English right now. All those triads. He goes up in triads like that. So that would be a really good thing too, to look at that book specifically. It's a thick book too. It's like that, and I'm like thick with 3 C's. It has a lot of information and a lot of pieces in it. It's a really good book. I personally owned it. I've played things from it. Yeah. And then also on here too, there's a bunch of there's 30 of the most popular folk pieces. Those are all really good pieces to learn too. Then see, what is this one? Bamboo duet, bamboo quartet, bamboo trio, minuet for shakuhachi. Inspired by Strauss. I don't know any of these pieces on here. But yeah, that last book on that one is really good. I wonder how much the price of it is. Shakuhachi flute books. It's $55. But a book that big with that many pieces in it, I'd say that's actually that's pretty fair. And it's Tozan too, so it fits both the things that you're talking about too. So yeah. So that's what I'd recommend. Yep. Okay, well, I guess I'll make that the poise and posture video, because that one I have new insights. I did make one like that before, but it was more about like the positioning of the shakuhachi against the face and like forming an embouchure, not so much of like how to keep your body and like where to send your weights and stuff like that. And that could be a pretty interesting video to go over, and lots of stuff. And I definitely will not have my ponytail when I do that. Okay, thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. Really, really appreciate it. If you feel so, if you feel like you want to donate, great. But the content is actually, most of this content is for me, you know, because the idea of this Jinashi series I've been doing too, like playing on all these pieces on Jinashis. Like, one, I finally have Jinashis that I like. It took a really long time to actually find these, and well, both of them I actually had made. I actually commissioned them both to be made for me. So but I wanted to just make a catalog of all the pieces I know and the pieces that I had wanted to play, and then I want to look back like 20 years from now, if YouTube is still a thing and if the world is still here and I'm still alive, but look back 20 years and go, that's what I sounded like. And it could either go one of two ways. Both ways are negative, which is, wow, I was much better back then, or that's what I thought was good. So we'll see what happens. Last comment was, thank you, Sean Sensei. I'll think about other topics I'd like to learn. Need to think about what I am struggling the most with. Yeah, just leave a comment, and I'll leave this video up. So take just whatever you think, whatever. Oh, some more questions. I can do that. HCY, how long do you practice shakuhachi a day? Any recommendations for different level of shakuhachi player about practice time? Okay, so you definitely don't want to. You want to build up, stamina, right? So you want to be able to play for a long time. I mean, there was times that I was in a studio and I had to be in there for 4 hours playing. There's other times I have to be for 5 or 6 hours. Of course, I get breaks, but still being in a studio and playing for 4 hours is very debilitating. I would say that 2 hours a day is more than enough. I don't think anybody needs to have more than that amount of time, and you can actually do a lot of practice away from the shakuhachi. And what I mean by that is, like, especially if you're doing Koden Honkyoku, you should be singing all of your music, chanting all of it. But yeah, don't go over 2 hours. I usually, when I have the time to practice, like today, I do an hour or two. But there's like fundamental things that I don't have to do anymore. Like I don't want to say it like that. I'm not like working on pitch. Like, I've never played a note in tune before. Whereas, like, if you're first starting for shakuhachi, you have to spend a lot of time doing that. So you might spend 30 minutes just doing pitch, long tones and pitch things. Where for me, I can do that out like while I work on my pieces and listen to pitch or use a drone. So I would just say, just don't play until your lips swell up. That's what I would say. That's where the line is. But that's a really good question, actually, and I don't think there's any one answer that's right. it all depends on the individual, and also depends on what you want. If you're like, I want to become like Shihan, I want to become a professional performer, I want to do this, that, and the other, and record for CDs and TV. Yeah, probably 2 to 3 hours a day would be good at that point. But I try not to go over 2 hours because I just don't think it's good for your back. I don't think it's good for your body to be stuck in a fixed position for so long. Maybe do 30 minutes, 20-minute break, 30 minutes, 20-minute break, 30 minutes, 20-minute break, something like that. Then you can get a lot more in out of that. But practicing away from your shakuhachi is just as valuable. Any good recommendation for jinashi flutes? I got my jiari from Yozan based on your recommendation. I love it. I would say it depends on what size you want. Yozan has some jinashis right now, actually. He has one that's like my, like this one. This is my, my 1.8 jinashi that I use in all of the videos. He has one like this, right, like and actually I was the one who found the bamboo for him for that too. So this one is the old, Susudake bamboo, a couple hundred years old. And it's a wonderful flute. I wouldn't use it all the time if it wasn't. The other one is just as nice. I think he's selling it for 4,000. But like here's the thing, like people like look at that and they think like it's really expensive for a flute, but I mean that kind of material just doesn't come around very often. Like finding good susudake that will become a good flute is really tough. And also if it's real susudake, not like the fake stuff that like people put in a smoker for a couple weeks and then they take it out. That's not susudake. Well, it is, but it's not like the real stuff that comes from like the old homes in like in the countryside. This is from an old home in the countryside where it was hanging in the roof. Probably doesn't make any difference. But anyways, I think that particular jinashi flute that he has is really good. He has I made a video for him of that flute. So let me actually pull that up for you and I can send you the link to that. And that way you can hear how it sounds. I like it a lot, actually. It was at my house for probably 4 or 5 days. So here's that. Take a look at that, see if you like it or not. It's expensive, but getting a good jinashi is just hard. Not every bamboo is meant to become a jinashi. And so what I mean by that is like if you the G paste that they use for the jinashi flutes is for tuning. So to have a jinashi that's in tune is like rare. They usually have some peculiarities to them. Not always, but sometimes there can be something a little funky, and that's what the G is for, spot tuning, fixing things up. So at least that's what I've been told. Now, and also they have a different flavor. It's like almost a different instrument completely. All right, I'm gonna head off and I'm gonna keep doing my own practice and whatever. I do hope that this was helpful for some people. I will definitely make the poise posture video, and have a wonderful day.